this. Is there anything you want the fans to know or any last thing you want to say to them before we get to see this series tonight?
This is where the fun begins.
Oh, damn. Wrong camera. Anyway, welcome back to the Jedi Mike 7 Movie News Show. I'm your host, Jedi Mike 7, with my co-host today, Mr. J. King. J. King, how you doing?
I am good. Having a lot of technical issues today, which is why it took a long time for this to actually start. But yeah,
It's all good. I mean, honestly, at this point, we can just do anything happens, we can just cut our cameras off and just be audio. It's all good. Yeah, guys, bring on the forecast. You see it. Bam. 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 Yeah, y'all. First of all, yes, we're back. Thank you guys for tuning into the last night's stream with Vanessa. Thank you, Vanessa, also for stopping by. It won't be her last time here. But yeah, guys, we are back, and I hope you guys can hear my mic. I got a new mic, and everything. About to get a new camera soon. I hope I sound good. Do I sound good? Sound good? Cool. All right. This one got extra features and everything. But yeah, guys, we're gonna be even also, watching it live, watching the pre-recording, that'd be fine, because we're going through all 6 episodes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and today, as of 3 a.m., which I don't like. Today, 6 episodes right before we're about to get into our 3-part finale of the show Xmen 97. This is a show that's currently on Disney Plus right now, and it is firing on all cylinders. Yes, we know this review is overdue and everything. I had other prior obligations last month, which prevented me from covering all this, and everything. And I was in Vegas last week covering CinemaCon, which, we got more content coming your way, but we're going full throttle. Thank you guys for getting us to reach the 800 subscribers. We're almost there. Y'all. Let's try to get to 1,000 before San Diego. Let's try to get up there. Thank you guys all. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, comment, like, and share video to all your friends and family. Now, let's get into it. First, before we can get to episode 1, J. King, how you doing?
doing all right, honestly. Been chilling, been good, been working on life.
That's good. Yeah, man. Yeah. So this show has been a positive point in the last few several weeks for me. It's like been and just when I think the momentum is gonna slow down, I was like, no, where's the episode? Come on, Disney Plus. You know how you do. All right. Now we're in the 4th episode. Okay, what's going on now? 5th episode. What? And then 6th episode, like, okay, I'm ready. The champ is here. He's coming back. But yes, let us get into. We're gonna be breaking down each, or at least reviewing our review of each episode, through 1 through 6. All spoiler, all of it. You guys should have seen it and everything. Not you're seeing online and stuff like that. But yeah. So we get into beginning of X-Men 97, episode 1, where we start off with the reintroduction of the crew, right? And we start off with the introduction of basically a few extremists trying to take out or trying to smuggle some sentinel weapons and everything, while they're also trying to kidnap some fellow mutants and everything. One, which we later find out will be Sunspot, who still hasn't been really mixed into the fold yet, but eventually we know he's coming. Yeah, and then as a hostage situation, and all of a sudden, the team come in with Storm in her whole Mohawk gear and everything. Bishop as well. See, the black folks came in and saved the day. But then all of a sudden, the main man, the leader of the X-Men, or at least the team as of right now, which is Cyclops, and as new reimagining, or at least say not new imagining, just revamping his position as a character and as a leader, because for decades he has not been getting his due and stuff like that. But yeah. So, what was your just thoughts, just the introduction of this episode and everything? We kind of get into it.
I have to say, like, first of all, I just gotta say it's so good to be back in this world again. A lot of people were questioning, like, is this a reboot? It's like, no, this is a continuation of the '90s cartoon. So picking up exactly where that left off. And I also know a lot of people are like, does that mean I gotta go to? It's like you really just need to know how the series ended last time. You really honestly just needed to know that, and you can pick up right after. But I have to say, like, just the first couple minutes of episode 1 for the show is just like, oh yeah, they are treating the X-Men like they should be, especially in terms of Cyclops. As we said, because again, I will say, the last couple years of Cyclops outside of the comics have not been kind, because whenever it comes to X-Men, people immediately think about Wolverine. And I get it, he's a popular character. But Cyclops is the leader for a reason. And this first episode showed people why Cyclops is cool when you allow him to be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like the charisma and everything that this man was exuding throughout this episode, especially during that first fight scene. Like, again, amazing. And then you bringing back all these characters. You got Storm, you got Bishop, you got Jubilee, you got Rogue, Gambit, Wolverine, Beast, and Jean. In the wake of Professor's death. Again, a lot of air quotations there. But again, this first episode really just brings you in. It's one of those episodes where it's like it hooks you from the beginning. You know that when a show can hook you from the beginning, from the first couple episodes, to at least by the end of episode 1, you're doing something right. And in my honest opinion, X-Men 97 has been that since episode 1. You are muted and frozen, I think.
All right, can you see me now? Or can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but you're still stuck.
It'll adjust itself later and everything. I can just do this. All right. So yeah, with everything that with this show, because I definitely enjoyed what they were trying to do with the at least just bring the momentum back. You feel like, to have to watch all of the X-Men original series to get what's going on. And no, you could be just, even if you haven't even watched it religiously like most folks probably did, you can just jump into it and then you automatically think of it as a new show, but it still is a continuation. And the best way I can explain it is like the Batman animated series and Batman New Adventures, where they basically have a new revamp. And no, I don't see a lot of people really talking about that. That I really don't see a lot of people talking about that, because like it's the fact that you have both the same cast, the same director and everything, with the same showrunner, all that stuff like that, Bruce Timm, and then same voice actors, just now different type of animation with a different, but still in the same vein of the show, is exactly what the Batman anime series did, and that's what X-Men is doing right now. So, but what was in terms of your thoughts on one, I guess, just the animation visually, because now we're seeing the action, which I think probably wasn't the thing that was best known for in the original series, but now the action, it's been, because of modern day animation, is now taking it to a whole new level.
Okay, I gotta say, action wise, I have been enjoying, like, especially how do I explain this? I've been enjoying the action. I know that people have probably noticed it's a mix of both 2D and 3D models, but I think it's in a way that, you know, it's in one of those senses where it's like, you can recognize what's exactly 2D, but once it hits 3D, it's a little hard to tell at first. And so you're like, wait, this is really, really smooth right now. And it's because of the way that they shade and outline these characters that it's hard at sometimes to tell whether something is 2D or 3D. But I have to say, the fight scenes are really, really creative. Like, again, since episode one to even this week's recent episode, you have so many fight scenes that are just playing off of the character's strengths, whether that be who they are as a person, their powers, or whatever the case may be. I mean, we see Cyclops bouncing around using his optic blast. We see Bishop taking in the fire that's coming from people so he can charge up to hit them back with something stronger. And of course, Storm, goddess of the elements, just going full throttle within that first episode, especially that ending fight. Like, just going full throttle with absolutely killing it.
Now,
Literally
can
and
we
figuratively.
can we talk about that? I know we're taking because we still gotta get through the other several episodes of this, but for one, okay, first off, you talk about this like with Storm and with Bishop. Like, I love the fact again that this is a mega level mutant,
Mm-hmm.
and you give basically give credit where credit is due with all these characters, but especially these
Yes.
first two that we get to, right? I mean, I definitely enjoyed that they were trying to again, the animation now definitely adds into more of a combat style where I think it kind of adds into more of the basically do the characters justice in terms of what they fully imagine the comics and stuff like that, because now it's like it'd be different where in the old animation you really can be able to do all this stuff, and now you can, but still kind of giving the more vintage type of look to it. I mean, I'm all here for it. But what one of the things that I definitely was intrigued with wait, hold on, I'm gonna try something. Can you see me now?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay, you see me moving, you see my beard, you see me all this. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I see. I see all
All
that.
right, cool. It's all good. All right. But I just wanted to talk about that because like this was awesome. Like, look at this, man. Look at it. Like, and then it is like it's X-Men Days Future Past Bishop now, part of it. And then you have Mohawk Storm in all her white costume and everything. And it's fire. Seriously, it's fire. But seriously, shout out to Busy. Shout out Busy in the building. Shout out to team.
Hey.
Yeah, JVS, y'all. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by. You know what? Hey, I'll just drop the link here because we're just recapping all of the episodes here so far. But yeah, but we actually had a scene here where she turned the freaking sand to glass.
Glass.
I've never seen that before.
Oh my god!
Have you seen that before? I haven't
No,
seen that before.
Not in any, like, again. I've seen her do it in the comics, but never in any type of other format. So when he said give her the forecast and she did that, I was like, when they said Omega, I'm like, fuck yes, she is.
Yeah, my jaw dropped and I was like, because mind you, I was watching this mess at work because I wasn't feeling. I was like, okay, I know, Jay King, he's just a fan of everything. I'm just like, no, okay, let me see how. All right, it's like I'm gonna watch it. I'm not really. I like the trailers wasn't really giving me hype and stuff. I'm like, all right, let me watch this. All right, and I was like, okay, that was a good episode. All right, then I got to the end of the second episode. I'm like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mm-hmm. There it is. There it is.
Yes, and I just gotta say, y'all, if it, without hesitation, I know the X-Men has not seen bright days recently, in the last couple of years though, cinematically. But you asking me, is X-Men back? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the X-Men are back, y'all.
They're back.
Yeah, they're back, y'all. They're back. But yeah, I was really intrigued in terms of now they're basing also comics into, which we'll get into the end of the episode, where they're having this big team up fighting, Sentinels, in their traditional glory, again, as they always do. But but I also was talking to I think the visual effects artists. I was seeing interviews how they focus a lot on the scale of these Sentinels. That was a big thing that was definitely an issue in the original series, but yeah, they were able to capitalize on that. But yeah.
Yeah, like that was a huge issue back then, because sometimes the Sentinels would be like the size of skyscrapers. Next thing they're able to fit into a mall. It's like it was very inconsistent back then, but they definitely have found a good middle ground within the series.
Yeah, because like even with this scene where we see with fighting Rogue, and everything, like you see right here, it's the same thing where like yeah, the scaling, it can be a big issue too and everything like that. But yeah, again, they were able to modify that. But at the end now, again, Professor Xavier is gone, and we're basically dealing with the ramifications of the fact that now Scott is leading the X-Men. The team is together, but we find out also that Jean Grey is pregnant, or at least Jean Grey we know is now. But as we get into basically the destruction of these Sentinels and everything from Trask, and they founded it, we're also people just understanding that, hey, Charles Xavier is gone, and now that that he's gone, or presumed dead, but even though he's not dead, he's in the Shi'ar Empire, I believe. But when they were talking, about who's going to be leading the X-Men and everything, Jean Grey basically had a conversation with Scott saying, listen, do you want to stay here? Hey, because I believe we should probably just leave the X-Men. They're going to be fine. They can be taken care of. We can just live out our life and everything. And I did appreciate that, like, they were giving that some type of realism to the fact that, hey, life happens. I just got married. I'm now like in a position where I'm like, hey, some things I used to hang with a group of my friends I don't do anymore. I'm just trying to live my life, and start a family. And it's kind of weird having those tropes now. You imagine as a kid watching this, and then now here you are as a full grown adult with children and stuff like that, and just thinking like, so like, you wouldn't get this in Fox Kids, back in the day. And I appreciate that. Just with this first episode, we're still talking about this first episode, because there's definitely things later on like, yeah, that's not going on Fox.
Yeah. But yeah, I do have to agree, because it's like, you hear back then when it came to the production of this show, or the other Marvel, shows that were going on around that time, like for example, Spider-Man the animated series. They were able to do a lot, but there were still a lot of limitations that they had to work around, or that they had to adjust to. They couldn't talk about actual death in some stuff. They couldn't actually show a gun. They couldn't actually show someone dying. They couldn't mention pregnancy or something like that. But now it's like 2 decades have passed since then. Like, the people who worked on that show are older. The kids that watched that show have families now. So it's like, and they know what type of demographic they're going for. Again, the story isn't rebooting it. It's not redoing it. It's basically letting it, the story grew up with the audience. That's the best way to say it. The story of X-Men of the 97 universe grew up with its audience. And so it's like, it's still very much the show from the 90s, but it's more mature in a sense, and not afraid of doing some things that it couldn't do before.
Yeah. Shout out to Mike Entertainment building. Hope you're doing well, man. You're almost at 1,000 subscribers, man. Shout out to him. I got some stuff I got sent to y'all. I just got back from Vegas. I still got your stuff. You too, Jake, and got something sent to you, and everything. So yeah. Just stay tuned. But yeah, again, the mature elements of it, I liked it, and we're just seeing them being evolved. That's what characters should, ultimately do, is evolve, and but as we get to the ending of the episode, we find out that in the last will and testament of Charles Xavier is that instead of leaving, the X-Men to Scott Summers, his, prodigal son and everything, we now see him be transitioned over to Magneto, or Magnus, I should say. And so, which, mind you, fun fact, Magneto was not titled Eric Lancher until after the animated series.
Right.
Yeah, so that was until, so even this past recent episode, we get mention of, Professor X referring to him as Magnus. They never called him Eric in the original series, to my knowledge, never. So that's history lesson for y'all. But yeah, it gets to transition over to Magneto. Now Magneto is in a full new costume and everything, and now he's going to be leading his X-Men. And then we have the iconic scene, at least when first Cyclops do it, to me, my X-Men, right? And now we have Magneto was the one saying it. But yeah, what was your thoughts now seeing a new vein of Magneto into this, at least at the end of this first episode? Now we're getting into it and flipping the whole, team upside down, honestly.
Yeah. Okay. So going into just how they've done Magneto, like without going into too much, I say I definitely like it because no matter what bad blood Magneto or Charles have had, they have been best friends for a long time for a reason. And it's enough that his death, again, quote unquote death, even though Magneto as well would know what actually happened since he was there, he knows that, you know, in a sense, Charles leaving and allowing the X-Men to grow up was also a test to see if Magneto can move past who he used to be in the past. It's challenging to see, can Magneto actually be good? Can he actually do things in a different sense than how he used to in the past? Instead of trying to, take over, civilization from humans in order to give mutants a better future, can he actually try it Charles's way in his memory? Since again, so many people, again, that's also another thing to talk about, is just how much the death of Charles Xavier has affected not just the X-Men, but the whole world's perspective on mutants. Like, it was a bad thing in them losing their mentor, and Eric losing his best friend, but it was a good thing in the world finally respecting and treating mutants a bit differently. Again, it's not all good, as we know, but it's a step forward and something that they've been working towards. And when it comes to Magneto, I just really like how this entire time is just testing, can he be good? Can he actually be good and stick with it? I as a comic reader know that he has the ability to, but it's just a question of, does this Eric have the ability to try to be good, to try to lead the X-Men in a good way, or is he going to fall from grace like everyone is expecting him to?
Yeah, and which we get into the second episode 2, which goes into basically the ramifications of now Magneto being the leader of the X-Men and stuff now, and how now the world, even already having issues with mutants, now the fact that this person who's been doing a lot of crime and caused a lot of harm and everything now is going to be part of the team that we've been told all these years to trust, and now he's leading that team. How as a human do you put yourself in that circumstance? I definitely do understand, like, the position of humans in this and everything, because listen, the whole thing basis of the X-Men is prejudice, basically of experience of prejudice and everything, and no one really knows that more honestly than Magneto, honestly, with his origin and everything. So I understand the position there, but as we see this.
Also, I was also going to say, another thing that they couldn't do back then is explicitly show his origin. They couldn't go into that, but now they can. They actually do go into his origin in ways that they couldn't back in that show, because there's no limitations this time.
Right, and I do believe that, again, with the fact that it's on streaming, I even think there are certain storylines that they could have dive away from, in the original series. Then now this one, you have now more full reign. But even then, it's still Disney, so it's still could strike. But at the same time, we got Deadpool coming out, which is, if you saw the 9 minutes I saw last week, man, it's like, yeah, that's out the window.
When it's going to be different when Kevin Feige says the F-bomb like 3 times.
Right, exactly. So, but yeah, but going into episode 2, now we're seeing this, is that now Magneto is now fully integrated with the X-Men, and people are still being reluctant. But Rogue, eventually, we see, is actually not reluctant, actually saying, hey, maybe we should give him a chance, and we'll later find out why. But as this we see the UN, or at least the government, is now going basically to get Magneto arrested and tried for his crimes and everything, right? But but then we get this iconic. I'm trying to find the comic book cover. I think it's Xmen 100.
Yeah, the Trial of Magneto cover.
Yeah, the Trial of Magneto, which is basically a nod to this scene right here, or like it's basically ripped out of the comics right here, with this new excuse me. Oh damn. Let me get 1 second. I was just trying to share my screen. Man, I can't share my screen on that. All right. But yeah, it was this let me give me 1 second, y'all. 1 second.
Yeah. You want me to talk while
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
There we go. Got it. I got it. Boom. Yeah, so right here. Yeah, so this one is like ripped right to comics with his giant M, because like he doesn't have the helmet anymore because Professor Xavier's not around and everything. So that's a whole thing there. But as we are getting into this whole trial of Magneto, it's causing a lot of tension and people are rioting and everything. Nothing we're not foreign to nowadays, unfortunately. So but yeah, with that we do see people and trying to conspire and trying to do assassination attempt and everything, and while simultaneously as this is happening, Jean Grey goes in labor, and
I also got to say I just love the comedic time. The comedic timing of the show was really good. But I just like she's like, he's coming. Who? Apocalypse? The baby.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because I thought that the timing of that was good, but also like we also have a character called Morph who adds a lot to that comedic timing, which I gotta say a lot of controversy with his character. I'm saying we're 6 episodes in and he's not bothering me. I'm just not bothering
me. Like yes, Morph yes, Morph is making suggestive jokes, but at the same time, it's not out of poor. Well, there's like probably one out of poor taste, but outside of that, there's like none that have been out of poor taste. So really, it's not really even the writing; it's just the fact that it exists. That of course a certain side of the internet got problems with.
Yeah, but but going into that, we do see a bunch of different cameos of different mutants that show up with Morph transforms and everything. But as you see here, that there's also there's a assassination attempt that people trying to attack Magneto, and I forgot who's the killer.
He's called the Executioner.
The Executioner, who has a specific gun, which will come part of play later. But yeah, he comes in trying to take out the X-Men and everything, and big fight actually that actually went really good. I mean, in terms of animation wise. But yeah, I thought they did a really good job with this right here. This action scene, it was brutal. It was brutal, it was intense, but emotionally, he's giving out his whole spiel, his basically his racist spiel, honestly.
Yeah.
But coming from just a place of prejudice, but at that moment, simultaneously, to try and get Jean into labor, but unfortunately, we find out, which is actually real. It's happened to especially us as African Americans in the past, where people actually refuse to
deliver the baby
in the hospital.
It got so bad that Rogue basically had to take the dude's knowledge to do it, because the dude would not deliver his baby because he's a mutant, because it would be a mutant baby.
Yeah, so I was very intrigued when they did that part in the story. I'm like, that's real. That's that's real. So yeah, I'm glad they added that part in there. But as we get into it there, at the moment, as intentions rise and everything, people try to break in. We do see Storm get into the picture and everything, and trying to help Magneto and protect him as this attack is going to rise and everything. But in the Executioner, he basically tried to had a killing shot, whatever, on Magneto, and then Storm basically sacrificed herself for Magneto's life. But in the result of that, she loses her powers. And
Mm-hmm.
this was a very sad scene. And we see here that when she's talking about that she cannot feel the wind in the air and everything, she can't feel the moisture and everything like that. It's like a part of herself is missing, because her
Mm-hmm.
abilities and stuff is gone. So
Right.
yeah, so I thought that whole part of there was very emotional, but I think it was definitely weighted in terms of that scene. But when we get into that basically just triggered Magneto saying, "Enough of this, man. Um, you guys, to try you shot shot at Storm and everything, and now it's like I used to give you guys, be hard on y'all, but because I made a promise to my friend, I need to give you guys grace, but I had to teach you guys a lesson." So he's literally taking them in like orbit almost, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the sky, and gave a really good speech. Uh,
Yeah,
talking about
simultaneously, while at that exact moment he's giving the speech, Nathan Summers is born.
Yeah, Nathan Summers, which by the way is very important when you later find out. But in this scene here, what I thought was very powerful is that at this you also see Magneto crying, in this because it's like he's angry, he's saying like, listen, like I try to be nice with y'all and you still not, trying to attack our kind and stuff. And in this, it definitely like in the way it's shot, like the lighting, the everything, and then also like when you even get small things, just like like a teardrop, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
that adds a lot of weight to it. Um, so
Yeah,
yeah,
this is one of my favorite moments of the, like, even after everything that we have dealt with so far within the show, this is still one of my favorite moments within this entire freaking series. The speech this man gives and the way he gives it is just the
yeah.
writers of the show need like an extra paycheck for this show, man.
Yeah, I mean, with that, we'll kind of kind of get into that later because, like, yeah, it's with that, it's a whole, we already got greenlit for season 3, or season 2's already been shot and everything, but
Mhm.
we're doing season 3 right now, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, even with this scene right here, very powerful, very powerful. So yeah, I gotta commend Disney or Marvel for that because, like, this is part where also too what I've been talking about, that even though you can have serious, emotionally driven storylines and not have to go and go completely rated R, even though like we have shows like Invincible for that audience and everything, but there's an audience who want good stories, even though it might be centered around PG-13, but still give the emotional weight like an Invincible, like a Boys and all that stuff is currently right now, and they're doing it. So yeah, so I'm really big fan of that. But as we get the birth of Nathan Summers, everyone is all peaches and cream until another Jean Grey knocks on the door and comes in saying, "I need the X-Men," and everyone's like, "Wait, what's going on?" And then we get into that third episode, which is a horror episode, almostly. But you can go
Yeah.
in and recap that. But yeah,
Yeah, so this third episode, like, again, it's just crazy the stuff that they got away with. But yeah, so we got two Jean Greys, and it turns out that the one that knocked on the door is actually the real Jean Grey.
oh, are you there? Are you frozen? Oh, sorry, I thought you were frozen. No,
I
I'm
wasn't.
I'm trying to pull a picture here as you're talking. Um,
Okay. Yeah, no, but yeah, like, we got two Jean Greys. The one who knocked on the door was the actual one, and so that means the one that has been there since at least episode 1 of this season, and the one who gave birth to Nathan Summers, meaning the one that Cyclops hit up, is a clone. It's not the actual Jean Grey, which goes into a whole midlife crisis for Scott and the two Jeans and practically everybody else, because they're like, what, how did we not see this coming? When did this happen? And Jean, I'll get into her name later, but like Jean is trying to be like, come on, like, you get. Oh, also we didn't mention Storm left after realizing that she might not ever get her powers back. She left, but we'll talk about her later. But you know, Jean is like, why don't you get, like, I've been here the entire time. You know who I am. I've been with you guys for a while. Why do you not believe me? And even though, and again, they don't know what to do. And can you blame them? Because it's like another Jean Grey shows up. The DNA test shows she's the original. So how are we supposed to react to you now? How are we supposed to know you're not like some sleeper agent or something like that? Come to find out, she was created by good old Mr. Sinister. And this is Madelyne Pryor. Yep, we introduced the Goblin Queen.
Yeah, so and they did the entire Goblin Queen arc in like 23 minutes. Like,
and I know some people would say that's rushing it, but honestly, it wasn't.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, like it's almost like you gotta pick. I don't want to say pick your poison here. It's like, because my thing is this: the biggest thing, that issue you have with the Disney Plus Marvel shows right now, live action wise, right, is the fact of pacing. It feels too slow, not really big, eventful, or these stories really don't even matter sometimes. Not really connecting to the overall universe and having ramifications or anything like that. But with each singular episode, even when we get into the next one, which is more of a slower episode, it still adds a big adds emotional weight in times where the momentum might be slowed down, but doesn't mean that the story and the quality is diminished. And that's, to me, I feel like is what goes back to serialized television is about, which I hope that when we get to Daredevil, Born Again, which is currently shooting right now, up, is that
actually that finished filming, I think.
Oh, it's already finished. Okay, so I know it's about to be finished filming, but okay. That they, when they get into 18 episodes, how are you going to pace that? And not knowing that, yes, you got time to to explore and everything, but we have to get to the meat of this and stuff. But yeah, Mr. Sinister, which, by the way, is one of the most iconic X-Men villains of all time and need to be brought into live action yesterday. And that's a big thing. He'd been studying Jean Grey and Scott Summers since they were kids, trying to create the perfect being. And then inherently create Cable, but it's with the Jean Grey clone. Honestly, probably got switched with with Jean Grey at the wedding when they Cyclops and got was getting married and stuff like that in the previous series and stuff like that. But yeah.
But also given the fact that the original showrunner for the old 90s cartoon pointed out a moment where Jean Grey is looking into like Cable's head when he like time travels one time and sees the long-haired Jean Grey. So it's like, even if they didn't technically have it planned out, the seeds for that have always been there. Because if you notice, our regular Jean Grey, usually ponytail and passes out. But Madelyne, long hair, and has no problem with her powers.
Yeah, sorry, hold on. We got company. I'm trying to see which video I can do here. Matter of fact, yeah, I'll just do it again. So, with the X-Men, we got 2, but things also come better in 4, so we got more people, but we'll be right back in 5 seconds. Previously on X-Men. Anyway, so hey guys, so we got the team JVS here. We got we got Supercell 0230.
Oh
no! The deep cut.
This is what happens when you remember. I have a very good memory, and stuff. But also we got Busy Ron is on YouTube as well. Make sure you guys follow for the people on YouTube as well. Thank you guys for stopping by. We're talking about X-Men today. But yeah, how you guys doing?
Ironically, we were just talking about X-Men.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, doing good, man.
Cool. So we're on episode 3 right now. We're kind of recapping all from episode 1 to 6. Because right now, today, the 6th episode just dropped, and we're about to get into the 3-part finale, because the next 3 episodes are all part 1, part 2, part 3, ending in 9, which concludes this entire season. So But yeah, and so we're doing a little bit of catch up here. But yeah, so episode 3 with the Goblin Queen. How did you feel with Madelyne Pryor, one being introduced to this now into the show? A lot of people are not really comic book folk, fans or whatever that's know the storyline. So then we see 2 Jean Greys, and now it's just normal. Now we have 2 Jean Greys now at this point. How do you guys feel about that?
So this was the last episode we got before we had to wait for more. But Sam and Ronan, like I watched this with Sam, Ronan, and Vanessa, but Sam and Ronan were just losing their like they were losing their crap, like they were going nuts. So I mean, they knew what was happening.
I am sick.
Sorry, that was an accident.
They knew what was happening.
What the hell?
That shit was so random, dog.
That was random. Like I just pushed the button. I got new stuff that's coming, and I accidentally pushed this button that connects to 3 different things.
Man got a stream deck and doesn't know how to act. That's crazy. Yeah. But I mean, just seeing them geeking out was mad funny, dog. Nah, not the. How much you spent on that? How much you spent on that?
I can't specify. I spent
it was
this.
Bad.
This is about $70. It was on sale, and I got it
on sale for $70.
Yeah, yeah, from Box Lunch. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I was walking with my wife in the store, and I saw this in display.
Good purchase.
Downstairs, and I was like, oh, I gotta get that. I gotta get it. So yeah. Yeah, so I actually saw your reaction, which is on your channel, by the way. Make sure you put your link in the chat and everything. But yeah, it's just I saw your reaction to episode 3, and I was like, I was watching it a little bit earlier before everyone else saw it, but I was losing my mind. I was like, wait, what's going on here? Like, this is Disney.
Oh yeah, I gave it to you early. I remember that. Yeah.
I was watching this. I was like, wait, what is this? Yeah. So, Sam, what was your thoughts on episode 3?
I thought it was amazing, man. Like they made that the horror that I was hoping for, but I didn't think that Disney Plus had the cojones to do. Because the back half of that, they were all getting terrorized. Like I'll never forget like how they messed up Morph emotionally and mentally, how they messed with Gambit with like his perception of what's going to happen with his relationship. Like everybody, they were coming for everybody's neck on an emotional level. And the thing about it, they did such a great job of switching it up really quickly, because initially it was kind of like, oh, okay, Jean's like, she just wants to spend time with her, with her child, and she wants to kind of get away. It's justified. Mm-hmm. And it kind of feels different. People change, you know what I'm saying? Like people absolutely do change, but that's not reminiscent of the Jean Grey that we used to remember. And it was kind of like all of a sudden when you realize Mr. Sinister is involved and what's going on, like, yeah, like Busy said, I was losing it. And I thought that transformation was so ominous and so cleverly done that by the end of the episode, I was like, I don't know how Scott's supposed to deal with this on an emotional level. Like, I wouldn't want to be Scott Summers in that situation. Like, he had a child by someone that is not Jean Grey that we know. And now how's he supposed to justify anything he does after that point, especially how the baby ends up. And so it was an emotional roller coaster, but it was such a great lead off for the first 2 episodes. I thought he did an amazing job with that for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because with this, we get that Sinister's involved, and actually he, got they gave the techno virus. He kidnapped the child and everything, which later becomes Cable. But they find out that after they defeated Sinister for the time being, that we see that this child is basically affected with this disease, and nor in this timeline currently right now that it can be saved. But Bishop, there's too many black people on the show, so they had to get his ass out. Which I was upset. I literally said I was watching it with Sam. I was like, no, stay. It's like, you want to go back to time? I said, stay. He was just getting good for 2 episodes, not 3.
Oh
come on.
Oh my
He's
god.
like, you're taking our black women's powers. You're deporting these black men to different timelines. I'm sick of it.
That's wild.
I mean, my man, Scott ended up becoming an absentee father. Had to walk away. I mean, it was a lot,
Seriously,
man.
exactly.
It was a lot. It was a lot. He was
Man,
like,
I was
I
like,
can't
man.
emotionally handle this. I gotta go.
Yeah, I don't even have kids yet, and I was just feeling like I know there was a lot of criticism. I remember from the comic book community that during that time with the whole Madelyne Pryor thing, that kind of like Scott was kind of just like almost like distant with it, not really. They really kind of explored that a lot emotionally in the comics of him, like, hey, like your son just got sent to a different timeline. They actually dive into that. I mean, it did feel quick in that episode, but later on you do see the aftermath of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was really good. And then we get to the scene with Madelyne now, or Madelyne eventually, is talking to Nathan telepathically and giving a message, from mother to son right before she's about to give him away. I was just feeling sad. Like, this is sad. After a crazy like horror episode, it got wrapped, but it's only in 23 minutes. So
Right.
like, question y'all, like, how do you guys feel about the pacing in each individual episode? Because there's a lot they're doing. And which I heard some people might say is criticism, like, oh, they need to slow down. It's like, no, this is like we're getting a lot, but I'm okay with it. Like I feel like there's still more that they can explore, but I don't feel like it's rushing. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I my biggest critique is they might need to bring that creator back, bro. He's cooking on ways that I don't think that people are really truly comprehending, because coming off the original show back in the day, it was always a banger. Every single week you were like, I don't know what's about to happen. And that's how this is paced. It's no different. We're used to like a lot of these shows kind of like leaning in, and on the back half or the middle of the episode or middle of the season, we get like a banger. Every single episode is leading off with something extra. Even the last episode we were just reviewing, which is episode 6, you got 2 different storylines going on, and they're still excellently paced. That's crazy. That's unheard of. A lot of times the draw is just off. And I think that the pacing for these have been amazing. And they're juggling the characters with so much care that it reminds me back of like the old Saturday morning days, man. It's just more adult. Like I can see this like literally like, man, I can't wait for Saturday to come up. And that's how we're feeling now every single week. But I think it's a testament to how well it's being done. I think the pacing's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt like with this is like when we get into next week episode, which is more of a slow, or the following week is with Jubilee as her birthday, and she's having this now like Tron Legacy type of experience where she's in a video game, and I think who's his name, Mojo? Is his name Mojo?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And by the way, did you catch the Living Color? Or not, was it Living Color?
Yes,
Different
I
world.
caught
It was a different world. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's an old show back in the day. Back, some of y'all don't even know. But yeah, that was a good show. Different world, and they used the Xmen in it and stuff like that. So, but yeah, they had that as her experience with Sunspot, which now I guess they're growing into some type of relationship, whatever. But it's teenagers, and they need something. And in anything, Sunspot is taking the place of Jubilee where she was in the original series. So I just kind of like that they're doing that and not making like one lesser than the other, but just knowing, hey, we're related because I've been where you've been and stuff like that. So yeah, what do you guys think about that episode? J. King.
Well, again, first half of that episode, I'd say, I definitely have to agree when I say that, Sunspot really has become, and I mean, they've even reflected that in the intro with him literally taking over, like Jubilee, like running up to the fence as the protesters come. He's literally become the new age, like new mutant on the block. And, honestly, his inclusion here hasn't been crazy. Like the whole season hasn't been centered around him, but I'd say that his introduction and his inclusion into the X-Men slowly as it comes, has been, as I said, so it's been pretty good. He's a good character, and I hope that there is a lot more that is done with him later on, since we have a second and, third season coming. In terms of that entire episode, I think it was like, a fun, again, as you said before, the pacing is still there, even though this was a breather episode, so getting to see them facing off with Mojo, the older version of Jubilee, and everything that we got to saw, for the first half of that episode was, again, it was a nice breather after the first 2 episodes of being a banger, and then the third horror episode that, again, I'm still trying to reel my head around how in the heck they did that.
Yeah, busy.
I don't know. I think every episode has been amazing. I honestly have, I don't really want to. I don't even know how to dive into it. I mean, every episode has just been a bop, and it's really it. It's really it. I'm like already. I just want to get to episode 5 and 6. Man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was a slow burn. I was trying to talk just a little about it, but we can.
I'm so ready.
You know what? Matter of fact, we could just jump into it.
No. I'm chilling. I'm impatient. I gotta wait.
He is impatient. Very.
Because it's like because today episode we got the second half of this fourth episode, whatever. So it's like we could just get all that one and get to that today at the end. So we can get into episode 5 because we're rushing. This definitely felt like a filler, but it still had impact. Whatever.
Episode 4 was cool. I just think that I was having trouble sitting through like the Jubilee and the I forgot his name. That stuff was cool. Like I'm rooting for that. But like they were bouncing between that and the Storm and Forge stuff. But and I was just like I thought it was a weird transition between the Forge and Storm stuff, then diving into the or whatever it was. I was getting wait, what happened first? Was the Storm and Forge? Was that in episode 5 or 4?
That was in 4.
Okay. Yeah, so it was throwing me off a little bit, but then it led to one of the greatest episodes like ever. So
yeah. Okay. All right. So let's just
I like 4. I actually thought 4 was really fun.
It was good.
I think that the ultimate deep cut was the older Jubilee, which is the original. I think it's the original voice actor of Jubilee.
Yeah, that was the OG.
And I really was in love with that, and I think that her getting a grasp on basically her maturity. Like these characters are still in the 90s, but they're actually progressing as characters, and even down to Storm developing trust in someone else that she doesn't know and trying to find love in a different way. So I appreciated the lull before the hype. So I thought it was a fun episode.
About the whole Jubilee, the older Jubilee, we watched this episode, but I saw Invincible prior to this. So I didn't mention it in the reaction, but like this scene just reminded me of the ending of Invincible. I don't know how many of you've seen it, but it was just like it was just really cool to see like the older versions, It was just I don't know. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
But to see what she can actually be capable of, like the ability
that was so hype.
So cool, man. To see what she was doing, like Jubilee is already a cool character,
right?
But to see like the older Jubilee kind of like master these abilities, it kind of reminded me of shit. I don't know what I'm thinking of exactly. But there was something I was watching where they were saying they can't really get stronger with their abilities. They can just kind of master them and kind of add new skills.
Oh, solo leveling.
Solo leveling, that's what it was. So it's like it was just kind of I was thinking of that because I'm like, how much stronger can she get? Probably a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's all about the creativity with the mutant ability. So to see what she was doing with her abilities, like she can do that. Like it was just so cool to see her just whipping out different things, and I'm like, bro, this is gonna be really cool to see her like develop this type of stuff.
It reminded me of the old episode of Static Shock where he met his older self. And
yes.
And he basically was doing different abilities. And he's like, wait, you can do that? Like, yeah, no, you'll learn that later. So
bro, this was airing around the time where 97, right? So does that mean? Right, or when did Static Shock drop? I can't.
That was the early 2000s. Or
really?
Late 90s, early 2000s. Yep.
I thought it was a little earlier than that.
So right as soon as Xmen 97 ended, then that's when Static Shock was.
Yeah, they really said we can't have 2 peak shows at once. That's crazy.
Well, yeah, and it's unfortunate because at that time it's like they try and find every reason to cancel a show featuring and it's like, hey, When you ain't selling toys at McDonald's now, you canceled. So that's what happened. Not because it wasn't good, not because they got actually a Tony Award.
It's because they saw the show as one giant marketing like commercial. Like that's how everyone saw these X-Men, like all the animated shows back then, just one giant marketing thing for like toys. And I think that's why people didn't get behind it.
Yeah. But we can get into after. I honestly believe this is. I can so hardly say that this is the best episode of anything Marvel Disney Plus.
Episode 4, that's crazy.
Even aside from maybe Sam Wilson giving the statue to Isaiah Bradley. I cried on that moment. And then
Isaiah Bradley. Oh,
yeah.
By
the way, I won't say anything. I can't say anything. But
we still got to do our recap. You know that, right?
We do.
From what I heard, I don't want to talk about that.
I need to talk about it. I need to talk about it.
Yeah, you ain't ready. I was like,
y'all
talk next to each other like, whoa,
y'all talk about it once we end the live, all right?
I can't say. Anyway, Sam, we'll plan that. We'll plan that whatever sometime next week, whatever. But yes, hit the notification bell, subscribe. But yeah, but with that, I honestly believe this was the best episode in Disney Plus for me, or at least in recent times. Honestly, episode 5, which is remember that, which is a highly Magneto episode, high Rogue episode, Gambit. We also get introduction to Nightcrawler. They'll come in there as well.
We got a boy Cable. We got
Cable.
the Watcher.
The Watcher.
The Watcher.
Come on. And listen, as soon as I seen the back, I've seen the Watcher, and I had to pause and wait. It was like, wait, what is that? And that's going. It's like, it's the Watcher. And at that moment, I was like,
oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm. Wait. Everybody, calm down.
Like seriously.
I'll lose.
You're gonna get hit with copyright for those 3-second clips, bro.
I'm not getting. Oh no. Fair use.
People who read the comics know when the Watcher shows up, shit is about to.
Yeah, you're screwed. Yo, and I didn't notice it though. I didn't even notice it until I was watching it with Ronan. He already saw the episode. The fireworks went off. He's like, "Did you see that?" I'm like, "No." Like, do I need to go back? He was like, "Oh no. We'll do it after." I'm like, all right. Then shit went crazy. They showed Cable, and I'm like, whoa, why is he here? And then he was like, you need to leave. I'm like, okay, he's not yelling that for no reason. And then he's like, I'm sorry, Mom. I'm like, bro, what is gonna happen?
He said,
and then once the credit rolled at the end, that's when Ronan was like, hey yo, we're gonna go back real quick. I'm like, to what point? And then we see this, and I'm just like, what the actual hell? Like, if I saw this, I would have been crapping my pants, and I'm kind of glad I didn't see it. But at the same time, such a cool little Easter egg. I don't know how important it's gonna be.
Very important.
I know. Sam is.
Important.
I put money on the line that it's not as important as Sam thinks it might be, but we'll see.
I'm gonna keep my theory to myself.
But
yeah, so
that's crazy.
I also gotta say this though. We have to go into the multiverse because we have to pull in somebody from a different universe into our reality. All right. So I'm just gonna go in, and again with the X-Men, we keep growing, keep expanding. But previously on X-Men. Blackwing's in the building.
You can give me?
Yes. And we're growing. We added. Listen, each week we add a new member to that episode. You know how it is. The intro. We got a new member and everything.
Episode 6, we're gonna add Ronan.
Yeah, we're gonna add Ronan, right? Yeah. Shout out to Blackwing in the building. How you doing, man?
I'm good, fellas. Sorry for the lateness. I was just coming from work, so
no problem.
Able to make it.
Wait, is that a wristband you have there?
Bro, how many times have I been on your streams and you just now seeing my frat wristband?
We're brothers. We're brothers, and we know it.
I feel like that's not how that goes.
Give me a blue eye.
That's not how it goes at all.
Give me a blue eye.
Oh my god.
Yo, we gotta
Give
record
me
that
a
in San Diego. We gotta
blue
record that.
I
We
cannot.
gotta do that. Shout out to the best fraternity that ever been created, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Yes. But anyway, but yeah, so are you caught up, by the way? Because I know you've been slow on episodes. So are you caught up fully?
Excuse me?
Throwing him under the bus is crazy.
Basic game when you
Well, I mean,
said
sometimes, sometimes. I mean,
Roasting him while
I
he's
got
in the
witness.
middle of
I got
morphing up
witness.
is wild.
Are you caught up?
Of course I'm caught up. What the hell you think this
Okay.
is, brother?
Damn.
So you saw episode 6. Okay.
Of
Cool.
course I did. I saw it this morning.
Okay, cool.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So, how'd you feel about we're talking about before we get to episode 6? How'd you feel about last week episode 5, the greatest episode in Disney Plus history?
Man, I never sat up so fast. I'm like,
that.
excuse me? I'm like, what is happening here?
Like the Watcher?
No, not even that. Okay, first of all, I didn't peep that until I saw a video on Twitter and
what
someone
I'm saying.
pointed it out.
That's
So
what
I was like, oh shoot, it is the Watcher. So again, it totally skips my mind every time the Watcher shows up, something bad happens. So I'm just like, okay, that totally skipped over my brain. That's number one. Number two, when Cable showed up, no, actually scratch that. Let's go back to boys. When Cyclops is having his little psychic therapy session with Madelyne and Jean had to intervene, I'm like, oh boy, here we go. I'm like, this never ends. This never ends. And then we get to the point where Cable shows up. I'm like, Cable, what are you doing here? And then all hell just breaks loose. I'm like, what is happening? I'm like, who sent this Sentinel? I'm like, I want names. I want to know who sent it. I want to know where they at. And I want to send a strike team to send that dude 6 feet under into the ground immediately.
Okay, Denzel, I got you.
I'm done. I'm done. And then, oh my gosh. First, it was just everything about that episode just went left field as soon as the destruction happened. I'm like, first of all, my boy Nightcrawler gets freaking wrecked. I'm like, don't you do this to my boy Kurt. Because I am not
the only
having
Christian on this show. Like, they have the they don't have to obliterate him and everything. No, save him. Don't. Because, especially after today's episode, he's needed to recreate a famous Xmen cover, So, because they're all getting their costumes and stuff, for giant size.
Once I saw Kurt survive, I was like, okay, because Marvel was about to have me pissed off last Wednesday. Then you have Gambit going all gung ho, trying to save everybody, and Magneto protecting everyone. I'm like, yo, this man is doing the most. Like, don't kill this man, and then just silenced. It's like I just heard 1,000 voices cry out, just immediately silence. I'm like, oh my god. And then I won't even call it the creme de la creme. I want to just call it the most tragic end I've ever seen for a character.
I don't want to hear the word end, bro. I refuse.
I mean, but he went out like a G,
not.
bro. He ain't go out like no chump. He went out like a G.
That was not a chump way to go out. This man freaking kinetic charged the leg that impaled him to kinetic charge the entire Sentinel and blew it up. Went out like a suicide bomber. I'm like, this
You
man.
don't remember me.
He's like, you gonna remember the name Gambit. I'm like,
Remember it.
and then just Rogue just coddling his body, just like she can't feel him. I'm like,
Yeah, that was like a death Superman moment.
Yeah,
for
that
real.
was the moment that I broke. I broke as soon as she said that. I was like,
I'm like, no.
Yeah. Oh, Ronan. I'm sorry, not Ronan. Busy's in denial. Busy thinks that Gambit is still alive.
Okay, well, look, if you know your comic book history, and you know death is always part of the X-Men universe, and ain't nobody stay dead in comic books. Everybody knows that.
especially not the X-Men.
Especially not the X-Men. No one
Sounds like they're backing me up, bro. That's all I'm saying.
But this is my thing.
I'm gonna leave it alone and keep my theory to myself.
You're gonna keep your theory to yourself.
No, because part of it. Listen. Here I am watching Young Justice season 2. I'm like, oh, they can't kill Wally. Whatever. And
they're never bringing that
kill
fool back.
Wally West. Not Wally West. No. But then here I am 2 seasons later, almost 5 or 6 or 7 years later. you know, and here I am about to be freaking 26 and stuff. I'm like, wow, where are you, Wally? Not coming? Okay, now
Stuck in the
here we
Speed
go.
Force.
He's stuck in
Yeah.
the speed.
Like literally,
Speed
even
Force until Young
I just want to
Justice
show you
gets
how
revived
impactful it is, right?
again.
I
Yeah,
after watching
he's
like,
soaking. You know how you soak your dishes? He's just soaking it all up. Like, he's just
right.
waiting in
And
there.
this is my thing. I'm watching this show. I was like, even I know my comic book stuff, right? At that moment, I was like, man, Barry, man, get out of here, man! Like, run, go, reverse the timeline and
Like,
mess
run, Barry,
or
run.
something, because I ain't doing this. Go creating a flashpoint, and I was like, wait, this messes Marvel, man.
Right.
Nah,
Right.
who else? Who can reverse time? Not
Superman.
Doctor Strange. We don't have the time stone yet.
This ain't 1978. Stop it.
You know, I was like, man, that's like, but no, it gotta be something. Some Days of Future Past Part 2. You know, something. I don't know. Yeah, but I think the point about this is like you have to accept the fact that maybe this is what we've been asking for. It's like there's no stakes in Marvel. What people have been saying, there's no people, you know, getting died or out of the blue and stuff. And then and then when it happens, you're like, no, I don't want that. But then I'm going to still complain about it on the next show or the next movie when I don't get it. You know, heck, we have freaking Michael Douglas say, "Hey, I was telling them to kill my ass in the last,
Yes,
in the last movie, and they didn't do it, but they did it here. They killed them, and yet you have to accept it.
It's okay, Busy. It's okay, Busy.
No, I'm not listening now. It don't
Nah,
matter. He don't know what
Biz.
he's talking about.
Biz, you and me know. We know.
Look, I mean, let's keep it a whole stack. That man was dealing with emotional damage. I'm talking about Gambit before he met his untimely end. That man.
Wait. You said emotional damage, Mike.
Yes.
Get the cue.
Yeah, play it.
Yeah, I got it.
I don't
Is that
think
Vanessa?
Emotional damage.
no,
I'm like,
because
wait a
I
minute.
mean, like he literally is dealing
Hey,
with.
yo, when we were watching episode 6, all I was thinking is I want to see Vanessa's reaction. We're not gonna dive into it yet, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was dealing with the fact of like the love of his life basically is like
Banging his
down.
arch enemy.
It's turning him down. Not even that. Like he was kind of like, who are you gonna choose? And she said, look, bro, I can't touch you, man, and I can't do this. And it's like, no matter how much I love you, that's the facts. Like it's just not gonna actually happen. And then on top of that, she tried to justify it. So it was just a lot, man. And he had to deal with all that emotional damage and then still sacrifice because he protected her using the motorcycle because she was about to go and kamikaze herself. And then he still sacrificed himself. And I was like, yo, he went out like a whole savage, bro. I was really impressed by the way they handled Gambit. It was sad, but I really appreciate the fact that they gave real stakes here. Now, Magneto, I don't know if he's actually gone, but
He's not gone. Of course, he's a cockroach. He ain't dead. Nah, bro.
I mean, who knows? We saw. I mean, freaking what's Banshee got fucking shot out the sky. A lot of the Morlocks died, so who knows?
Right.
Yeah,
Man, none of them Morlocks are going to see the pearly gates.
Yeah, but I just gotta say, going to this is like, to me, this was a heavy episode, but not only because of the fact that it was just shock value. It's like because this is how I'm gonna tell you this. Like, I was not expecting this show to be this good. I was like, okay, where's the fall off? Whatever. I wasn't prepared. I was in Vegas. I was in Vegas watching this, right? And there I am. I was right next to Sam. You know, it's the morning in our time, whatever. I'm watching this, and as soon as Gambit got impaled, I was like, and then he woke up like, what are you doing, man? You know, I was like, man, I'm watching X.
I'm saying, so this no, he didn't tell it right. I was dead asleep, and I'm saying, he's like, oh my god, and I said, bruh, what's wrong? Like, are you okay? Like, do I need to call 911? Like, what's wrong? And he was like, I'm watching Xmen, and I was like, I'm like, really? I'm sitting there thinking something. I thought somebody legitimately had died or something terrible had happened in the world. And I was like, I need to prepare myself because I got to figure out.
I'm like, do I need some prayer? Man, 6 and 6. I mean, it's 7 a.m. That's usually when a prayer call happens.
That's crazy.
Funny. What's wrong with this man?
Yeah, Mike, you terrible for that.
You know,
Man. Mm-mm-mm.
no, but seriously. But no, like seriously, it was devastating. That was giving like the death of Superman, like
Yeah,
like
definitely.
that
Oh,
straight up.
especially with
But
that moment.
but not a
Oh,
carbon
boy.
copy, but still gave the same emotional impact of it. But also, it was coming in made different because I think the biggest thing when people were talking about how this show kind of felt soap opera-y, but in a way, it didn't feel like it was like to me a mess. Like it wasn't feeling like CW type of
No,
soap
not at
opera
all.
at all.
Hell no.
And I just, for me, I felt it made sense. Like, okay, it made sense that Madelyne Pryor would still be connected, mental whatever to Scott. Cause that is, we just had a child. You just had a child, and then mind you, this is also talk about following comics because originally, that person that was supposed to have a mental or affair with Cyclops was actually Emma Frost.
Emma Frost.
Emma Frost.
Not with who also was in this episode, but
Right.
I actually and by making it Madelyne Pryor, they made it better
They did.
than what they did in the comics because it was just Emma Frost just doing something sneaky, disguise herself as Phoenix, whatever, and then that was it. But
I can see the panel in my head right now.
yeah, but they made it Madelyne. But then it also, when that revelation happens, it makes sense that this is not just black and white saying, "Hey, listen, why are you talking to just Madelyne and I'm Jean?" But I just had a child with her. And what's your experience? You're just remembering. What do we? It's complicated. But then it gets even more complicated because you add Wolverine into the mix. And then
that was messy.
And now that we talked about the greatest episode, I think I can make my leave. We got to go record some content before I have to go to bed because I got to wake up at 7 for work.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I appreciate the invite, homie.
Yeah.
But we got to get some screeners done, get the work done, and fun stuff.
Some vampire stuff. We got to go.
Twilight.
Oh, okay.
We got the early access to Twilight.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, season 2. But no, we appreciate y'all, man. We went to step 3, bro.
Appreciate the invite, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We gotta do that recap later. All right.
Yeah, we do the recap. We'll talk and everything. Shout out to Comic-Con. We got our reservations, or at least we got a queue for it. We got a list for it.
Don't jump the gun there. Don't jump the gun like that.
Holy Spirit, cover our list in my name of Jesus. But yes. Anyway. But yeah, we'll talk Sam though. But guys, make sure you guys subscribe to Team JVS and also Busy Bro on YouTube as well. And make sure you guys follow their platforms and everything. Appreciate you guys. Hope to bring you guys again soon and stuff. But yeah, we'll see each other soon.
Yeah, anytime. Appreciate y'all. Later.
All right. Peace out. All right. Then there were three. But yeah, so now after we got to the whole cusp of episode 5. Now we can end this off with go ahead.
But I was also going to say another reason that I knew that the episode 5 was going to be something crazy is because, and this is something I just realized, whenever the X-Men have paradise for even the slightest bit, there's going to be someone to say, "Fuck no, you don't get that."
I'm like, y'all don't got the right to be happy.
Like, this episode honestly was a mix of both Genosha and Krakoa. It was a mix of both of that, the old and the new of X-Men Paradise. You got a whole island nation. You got the literal Hellfire Gala from the Krakoa era of recent X-Men comics. So no wonder things went bad. It's like, as soon as I saw Genosha, I got reminded instantly of the Krakoa era of X-Men. Because, the X-Men make their own land. They make their own home. But there's still people out there that, especially in the terms of the Sentinels, that are going to be like, no. No.
Yeah. Because I don't know. Because also now, again, it's going to be different because this isn't like the person we will later find out who's behind it. It's not Cassandra Nova, who is going to be the villain for Deadpool 3. And but it is the same event with the same Sentinel that went and attacked Genosha and everything. With this one from the comics right here, I'm making sure I pull his panel up right here. Ooh,
Yeah, because in the original, because this is straight
Ooh.
from the E. Yeah, this is straight from the E is for Extinction storyline of the new X-Men, where the exact same thing that happened on Genosha happened. It's just it happened just on Genosha and not during a Hellfire Gala. It just happened straight up like that, and it was by Cassandra Nova, but it looks like that's changed. I mean, who knows though? Because Sinister keeps saying the hour and the we, so it might just be more than him. Who knows? But at least for now, you know, we're not entirely
Sinister
sure.
really makes my blood boil. Boy,
He
he's
really
definitely
does.
yeah. No, so but no, that and the way it's kind of ending off with that would being that just colossal figure and everything. I definitely end and off the episode to in a good not on a good note, but just it was just a lot emotionally where it's just like I'm left like what's next, but going to episode 6 as we end off here now, which came out today. We're getting the second half of the life death storyline with Storm and Forge coming to the conclusion with her getting her powers back, having her Man of Steel first flight moment.
Yeah. Yes.
Literally, she's just getting her Power Rangers power up and stuff, and apparently, you being the mistress of elements, whatever. Apparently, that gets you a new costume, right? She gets a new costume.
costume.
Yeah, or should
And
we
she
say
get a
her
new
own
haircut.
costume?
And she get a new haircut too, right? All of it. She get brand new lace front and everything. It comes packaged through the mutant ability, the mutant X gene and stuff is on sale. But yeah, she gets a whole new wig, and it comes from the scalp, so and everything, so it's natural. But so
Somebody get this man.
Stop right now.
but and then she got new fabric and everything, and that's where she get her first flight. Now this is one of my favorite Storm outfits, whether it's the black and yellow. Yeah. This one never disappoints.
This one never ever
disappoints ever.
Never. So
hold
now,
up before you go any further, because I saw a response on Twitter. Someone was like, "Oh, Storm's wearing her costume from Wolverine and the X-Men." I'm like, you mean her original
costume? Right. Like if you go back to the original her first connections with the X-Men, that's the suit she look at the cover. Either the original or the Alex Ross version. Look at the cover. That's her original costume.
This is why people need. I'm going to be very clear with this. People, nerds of all nations, whether you're watching a superhero cartoon or a superhero movie, I'm just going to tell you to do one simple thing. It's very easy. Pick up a comic book, please.
And if you don't want to pick it up,
that's all I have to say.
And if you don't want to pick it up, you can buy it digitally. Or there's people on YouTube that'll tell you the story.
Yeah, I'm trying to find her outfit. What was in Wolverine X-Men? Which, by the way, Wolverine in the X-Men is very underrated.
Very.
I'll watch that on the plane from Vegas and stuff. Like let me go binge something. Yeah, that's her original outfit and everything. I'm trying to where is it at? Right here. Boom. I really like Wolverine the X-Men. Back on it was on Nicktoons, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Nicktoons, man. Nicktoons was the bomb, man. That was like your Disney XD, but for Nickelodeon,
Or that's the place where your
Nick had this how for y'all if you remember, Nick just had iCarly, Victorious, and all that stuff at the time. We were watching that and all that stuff, but Nicktoons had freaking for your parents, Last Airbender. It had Wolverine, the X-Men, the Iron Man animus. You remember the Iron Man animus? He is a man on a mission.
Iron Man Armored Adventures.
Come on, man. Listen, come on. Y'all didn't know. Y'all theme songs today are trash. Nah, I mean for real. But no, for real. That was a good animation. Remember the Speed Racer show they had at the time?
Oh my god!
Remember the Speed Racer?
Yes.
Oh man.
I'm having a kid moment. Please let me have one. I just got finished paying some bills. Like, just let me have a kid moment. For real.
But bro,
You know?
Nicktoons was straight up the place where you could see like the American cartoons and the dubs of Japanese cartoons.
Yeah, but but anyway, so as we get into that, we get to basically her getting her powers again and fighting this demon, who's also voiced by the same actress and stuff,
Yeah,
giving
I caught that.
emotional.
I caught that. I was
Yes,
like, that's the same actress.
Uh-huh.
right.
Yeah,
Basically,
fighting again and teaming up with Forge, who, as we also found out, is the reason that the mutant dampening collar and gun were even created.
yeah, and which that was the same way in the comics and everything. So, but as we see here, we get a awakening of her powers as she, she repent for her sins. You know what I mean? So
The Queen made a glorious return.
yeah, and she came in all blazing glory and everything with a new suit and now her abilities and everything. But I thought that, to me again, I thought that scene was beautiful, and yeah, I thought this is well, as soon as I saw this costume change, and now like, all right, I'm ready for everybody else's, So like now the question is, are we gonna see Cyclops get his, like cap on his
cowl and his yellow
cowl.
tidy whities?
Maybe.
I
I don't know.
I given how dramatic Scott's gotten recently, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the black and red suit.
I'll take that. Hey, I'll take that too.
But that's what I'm saying. But with that one, I'm actually I don't say I'm concerned. I'm more like, I don't know, because is that going too futuristic? Because the black and red one is like, that's like giving 2015. Like this is the giant size Xmen, which is basically where they're heading to, honestly. Right here. Let me get I'm trying to get this issue, but yeah, this was the roster, right? And we already seen at least over half of these mutants here. So we already seen Warpath. We've seen all of these, except for, I don't know if we've seen the one on the top right. I don't know who he is, but
Sunfire.
Yeah, Sunfire.
He was in the original show. He had like a few cameo spots.
Okay. Yeah, but as you see here,
we can't have Banshee now because, again, goodbye.
I don't know. Is he? Yeah, we don't know. But yeah, this is not.
He was obliterated. What do you mean? It's not like Nightcrawler. He was obliterated.
But again, this is nod to basically the giant size X-Men, which is one of the most iconic X-Men covers that actually brought the more famous roster of the X-Men, as you see here.
Sad thing is that two of the people on that roster left like within 2 or 3 issues later.
Yeah,
one dies and another one leaves.
Yeah, but thankfully we had Chris Claremont to take over.
True.
Yeah. So, but then as we get to the other half of it, which is a big one, we get the return of Charles Xavier. Now him with his time with the Shi'ar Empire.
Lord have mercy. I was like,
yeah. First off, I just gotta say, seeing the Shi'ar fighting the Kree, Ronan the Executioner, freaking Gladiator. I was like, where is this going right now?
Like, give it to me. Give it to me.
I was here for Storm, but I will take this.
And let me say, whoever wrote the script for this episode, freaking Deathbird saying calling the Milky Way ghetto. I'm like,
ghetto. I was like, what the fuck?
I'm like, who wrote this?
Who wrote that?
Listen, the fact that I don't know how many times do we have to make these references. Like, listen, the X-Men get the black card of approval. Like, they get the experience. You know what I mean? Like just to say,
they welcome to the barbecue every day.
They're welcome to the barbecue.
They invited to the cookout.
They're welcome to Big Mama's house and stuff like that. They'll take a plate home. But like, no, seriously,
no, they ain't taking a plate home. They're taking a van of meal prep home.
Right, exact. So, but yeah, no, having X-Men back in space, I think that's also something that hasn't been explored a lot in the movies. Only for one briefly, but it wasn't as extensive as it could have gone in the right way. But yeah, anyway, but yeah, we have to see Ronan the Accuser in his comic book style outfit and everything. But again, the Kree just getting the butt kick that we see mention of the Supreme Intelligence, which we saw in the Marvels and stuff like that. But yeah, I thought that was a good addition there, just knowing stuff we are already familiar with. But now it's getting back to a whole royal family situation where they want Charles Xavier, and they're trying to marry each other for political reasons, but she doesn't want him to return home, but at the same time, he has a longing for his children, longing for the X-Men and stuff, without any knowledge of what's going on, of the events that have transpired until later on. But yeah, how do you guys feel with one return of Charles Xavier, and then now that just the fact that he's want to make this return of like, hey, I need to go back to my X-Men.
Well, first off, that was like the biggest, I wouldn't even call it a bait and switch, biggest switcheroo I ever saw coming. I'm like, the first episode of this show starts, oh yeah, Charles Xavier's dead, Magneto's in charge, only to find out, oh no, the Shi'ar was able to fix him. He's alive and well. I'm like, okay, Charles, you here, but you don't know what happened on Earth.
Yeah, no.
You've been gone for a while. You don't know what just happened, what just transpired.
They said a whole damn year too. I'm like, Charles, if only you knew what could happen in a year.
You only knew what happened within 365 days, my friend. Anyway, so having Charles back was wow, just freaking wow. And allowing him to do what he does best, to not really put people in his shoes, but to find a way to get his point across in his method, just like putting the Shi'ar political council in a mental classroom on the astral plane, and even giving Deathbird a demerit. I'm like, that is something only Charles Xavier would do, and I love it.
Like it's only Charles Xavier that would make someone like Deathbird sit back down and put an apple in her mouth like she's an asshole.
I'm like, shut up, I'm teaching the class. You're like, you didn't please raise your hand before you ask a question. I'm like, okay, he's going back to his profession, his teaching route. I'm like, I love it.
They don't call him Professor X for nothing.
Yeah, no, I like that they had this scene right here because it shows just how OP he is, but in the right way. It was just a moment to like, have a seat, like let me put you in like he said, classes in session, and but then also the lesson that he gave is educating, talking about the humanity. Like, guys, like, you guys are talking about you liberating people. You guys are literally, cutting people off the kneecaps and acting like you're offering them a hand. Like, you're the ones, because if you let these other civilizations prosper and everything, then they will propose a threat to you and stuff because they'll just grow strong. So what you do, you just basically he said called him a snake in a rattle's can or something like that. And the guy, the emperor or whatever, he's like saying, so if you're supposedly right, who cares? Who's gonna believe you? Like, it's just a reflection, even on a different galactic style, whatever. Still issues politically, how people, oppressors, how people conquer nations or conquer civilizations is not just, that transcends galactically beyond the stars and everything, which that was interesting, that even that Professor X was still mutant, he was also still human. He's from Earth, so that's still his home. So given that type of experience, I thought that was pretty good. But yeah, what did you guys think about that?
J. King, you can go first.
Well, look, when it comes to freaking Charles Xavier and just the way that he's able to just, again, the man has a way of making people see his point of view for a reason. And it's not just because of his mental capacity. It's just also the way that he's able to teach these people, or at least hopefully had taught these people, just like, y'all's, like, you're saying I'm being way too optimistic. It's like, I kind of have to, when the way you're doing this is like, you're literally saying, if you want to be here, you got to get rid of all your memories. Basically, you're saying, I need to give up who I am to be more like you. Who made that rule? Who made that rule saying that I can't just be who I am, nor can I keep the memories of the life that I lived and not be okay? Who made those stupid rules? Like, we did. And it's like, yeah, I know. You guys made that because you're fearful of change, which is not that different from Earth. Earth, just like the Shi'ar, can't accept change sometimes. So they try to mold people into their own way, or they try to get rid of it. It's literally, it's intergalactic racism. That is literally what that whole thing was. It's intergalactic racism, and Charles putting them in their place. It's like, y'all's way of thinking is backwards, and there's a reason why I'm not going to stand for it.
See, all right, now you can hear me. So yeah, I got technology now. See, I got just tap it. But yeah, so yeah, I really do believe that in terms of how they are withering in that, putting the clothes on now because now he's going home, going back, and now is setting up the presence of now what's going to happen in episode 7. Now it's like, hey, how are we going to do the ramifications? This, where are we going to be? Like. Now we find out that Mr. Sinister was the one involved, which is different from the comics because it was Cassandra Nova, Professor Xavier's twin. Now, I don't know how Mr. Sinister. Now, it also makes sense because Cable was there too. But Cable is, to me, is more, I feel like it's kind of lean to it down a apocalypse route, where it's like, hey, Sinister probably worked for Apocalypse, but then it's kind of weird. Like, why would he be working for Apocalypse? He really would be working for anyone. It made sense. Mystique did it, in the previous show. But Mr. Sinister, and also I don't see Mr. Sinister as someone doing a massacre of genocide for that.
You mean a mutant massacre?
A mutant, a mutant, like a mutant massacre, but at the same time with his intention of creating the perfect being. It's like, I just don't understand. Like, I'm just saying, yes, he evil, yeah, whatever. But like his move is like, for example, like it's like a certain villain. Like, okay, why is Mr. Freeze is burning this entire village to the ground? Like, that's weird. Why? He's still a villain. I know he's saying, but why he burning it? It's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if he was going to do something, it wouldn't be a mutant massacre. Like, because the whole part, to me, at least with his character, goes back to evolution, genetics, so like it's just more of like, hey, the strongest will prevail, I guess, but then that's also Apocalypse. So I guess, Apocalypse mentality. I don't know what you guys think about that, the revelation that is Sinister, but also kind of your expectations of, at least, of what we might be getting next week episode in terms of like of what's the end game here? What's Sinister's point of all this?
Well, Sinister is always like I guess you could say he's always one step ahead of everybody from time to time, because you never know when he may strike. It's like a game of chess. Somebody moves, he doesn't make a move until somebody makes their move first. And once he sees that strategic mindset that's going to go forward, that's when he will strike. So the fact that this kind of this episode reveals that it was Sinister behind, sending the Sentinel to destroy Genosha, because in my mind, I was thinking Boulevard Trash. I was immediately thinking Trash, like Trash is the one that created the Sentinels, only to behold, like, nah, it was Sinister that told Trash to send that Sentinel to Genosha. So Sinister, he's so not even manipulative. He's so mysterious and calculating that you never know what he's going to do next. He's one of those villains who is completely unpredictable, that their move of the next plan is unknown to the characters that's at that time, the characters who are going to be at fault, and to the audience. So that's what I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, JK.
Okay, I have to say, when it comes to this, is like, again, especially going back to the Genosha shit and also going to the, again, recent stuff with Xmen, I have to say it's like Sinister, he could be the main baddie behind it all, kind of being like, hey, I was Apocalypse's lackey last time, but now I'm calling the shots. But again, I still, honest to God, think that this is not just his doing. And I think we start to see some of those, plot threads, maybe even shown potentially within the opening, because the opening always changes with something, but it always has some consistent stuff that always keeps coming back, like Cable fighting Apocalypse, or just recently this week, Nimrod, the giant futuristic sentinel from the Days of Future Past future, and also very important to this run as well, showing up there. So it's like it could be Boulevard, it could be Nimrod, it could be Apocalypse, it could be Sinister, it could be all of them. For all we know, they all could be working together to try and take down mutant kind, because that is something that X-Men villains are known to do. If they hate the X-Men that much, they're willing to team up with somebody, even if they still got their own intentions in the end. So it could be a group effort for all we know. We really don't know where this is going to go, but I feel like come next week with Tolerance is Extinction Part 1, I think we will start to see clearly if it is just Sinister or if Sinister is playing a long game with somebody.
Yeah, that's a good point though. So yeah, I mean, honestly, if it's Sinister in terms of having this long game here, because again, it's a whole thing going on for multiple seasons, but at the same time, there's also the next three episodes. We're also expecting some other cameos too, from other non-X-Men characters coming in. So we don't, again, how would that incorporate into this? I don't know, but again, I think can be the dawn of something great, honestly, if they pay off this and think like, you know what, okay, X-Men good, let's bring these other things great, and all stuff like that. So
I keep forgetting about that Captain America, that soon to be Captain America episode. I keep forgetting. I was like, oh right, Cap is coming.
Right. I mean, here's the thing. I thought Doctor Strange was in this, and I was like, oh no, it's Forge. I was like, okay.
Yes, it's the same magic, but it's Forge. But that's the thing, is because like X-Men, the old X-Men cartoon had cameos from everyone. It's just they couldn't say anything. Or you had an instance like the X-Men teaming up with Spider-Man in his show, or Storm going to help Spider-Man during his Secret Wars event. But it's like, we know these other characters exist. We know at least Iron Man, Captain America, the Hulk, the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Punisher, Deadpool, amongst many others, do exist. So it's like, and I actually, if we do see Cap, I'm curious if he's going to reference anything of the past when it comes to Logan or even Secret Wars.
Or maybe he'll be in the present. Who knows? Maybe he might be in the present.
Who knows?
We'll see.
Yeah. So yeah, only time will tell though. But yeah, guys, that concludes our review of all 6 episodes of X-Men 97. Now we're fully caught up. Now the 7th episode will be coming next Wednesday. And we're going into the 3-part finale, which we concluded with 9. Again, I'm loving this show, and I didn't realize May's about to come, about to be here.
They are 6 for 6 with this show, and I will not be.
I gotta wait. I honestly gotta wait for it, because I'm like, you know what? Like, if they get, because listen, if we get to next, I don't want to, speak too soon, but it gets to these next 3 episodes, and it's still fire. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm getting this on Blu-ray. Like physical media, we're still in, still in business. I'm what I mean? And so I'm like, now again, how are they gonna do with the showrunner and all stuff like that? Now, how much the showrunner was impacted by, like, in terms of their involvement in everything and stuff. Now, the visual effects are one of the other producers who I've been seeing a lot now. He's in it, but he's also, every time I see him being interviews, he's been so passionate and direction and something like that. So I hope that with that departure is still not like the essence is still there, because we're not going to feel it in season 2. We're going to feel it in season 3. So we got some time. But season 2's already been shot, already been written, all that stuff. So, at least we're good for another year.
Yeah, it's like we still don't even know why he got fired, do we?
We don't really know. I don't even think they're gonna reveal it. Who knows?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What?
J. King just don't.
I am sick. I am sick of your shit. And when I'm not sick, I'm tired. I am sick and tired.
Well, look at him. He walked away. Oh no, we don't like that, man.
It's just the way how he just randomly just popped in and like
Perfect timing. But anyway, guys, that
Perfect
concludes today's show. You guys should give your links in terms of where people find you.
So yeah, folks, you guys can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, and TikTok at Blackwing2040. My YouTube channel also Blackwing2040.
And me, you can find me here. Otherwise, you can find me on Instagram. Links should be down below, but you don't want to go to the links. It's jking_ZIO. You should find me there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, guys, you can find me here on Jedi Mike 7 on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, all that stuff. By my link tree, you're able to find me there and everything. Thank you guys for tuning in. We are back.
Oh, wait, before we go, a certain somebody hit a YouTube milestone today.
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I've hit 800 subscribers. Are now at 802 subscribers. So yeah, we're on the way to 1,000, y'all. Let's get it. I gotta keep rolling out content. I got content for you guys, so just stay tuned. Hit the notification bell on your way out. Also, make sure you guys subscribe to my Instagram. I'm making money moves, y'all. Pray on that. Anyway, so yeah, we're going good, y'all, and everything. Thank you guys for tuning in yesterday for the CinemaCon recap. We can get into later because we also got to talk about some stuff I saw that you haven't. Anyway, but yeah,
Don't laugh like that.
Well, listen, when you saw stuff that I didn't come until 2025, man. And guess what? All the food and drinks were free. It was free, Ninja. It was free.
Okay. Yeah, keep telling us. Keep telling us that.
Yeah, man. It was off the chain. It was off the
Food
chain.
and drinks, complimentary. Yeah. Must be
Oh,
nice.
yeah, well, wait till San Diego, man. You ain't ready. Anyway, y'all, we'll see you guys next video. See you guys. God bless. Peace.
Is there anything you want the fans to know or any last thing you want to say to them before we get to see this series tonight?
This is where the fun begins.
Thank you.